Okay, time for the blue commons. We start there. And on number 5, I guess we have Gear Seeker Serpent. On the surface, it's 5 blue for a 5/6, which is not a card I would like to play. But still, since you can get it cheaper for each art, it's basically affinity.
Yeah, exactly. You get it costs 1 less for each artifact you control.
So it's affinity for artifacts or whatever they call it.
And this is an artifact format. You have a lot of 1/1s, servo tokens.
Plus, there are a lot of common and uncommon artifacts that are playable.
Exactly. So you can, for example, you can play the one that we talked about in white, the 4 mana 2/1 that puts in 2 artifacts.
And then this costs 5.
And then this on the 5.
And on turn 6, it's a 5/6 unblockable if you don't have other stuff to do.
Yeah, the unblockable part is actually what puts this over the top.
There should be a deck where it's good. Maybe you have a blue something that's a bit controlling, and then you have a finisher when you can start getting this. It's a 4-turn clock. Even if you do nothing else than disrupt your opponent and stay on the defensive. And then when you have stabilized or whatever, you can have this... play it and then just kill your opponent in 4 turns, for example. So it looks like it should have a home somewhere.
Yep. And for number 4, we have Either Theorist. It's a 2 mana 1/3, which has the ability that when it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters.
Yeah, so there's a lot of energy going around in format. In, I guess, all the colors. There are ways to produce it and there are ways to use it. And this does both.
And the way it uses it is that you tap it, pay 1 energy, and scry 1.
So it's basically a scryfish, sigiled starfish, with a power instead of 0 power, that can do it for 3 times unless you have other ways to also generate energy.
Yeah, if you don't have any ways to use the energy counters you get, you might as well use it to scry.
Yeah, and this can also block all the 1/1s and kill them. For example, a 0-3 would only have blocked them, but they wouldn't have died. No. So I guess the 1 power is decent.
Okay.
Number 3, we put Windrake. 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. Usually is pretty good.
It should be pretty good.
It's
we not had spectacular,
but we had it in Eldritch Moon.
Yeah, the Dawn Gryph.
We had it.
It has seen.
There's usually a white or a blue one.
Exactly.
And they are usually base playables. So we just think that it's also a pretty good blocker against Thopters.
And if the format is clogging up on the ground with 1/1s and 2/1s and stuff, then this can at least get in some damage in the air.
Yeah, it looks solid, not more.
No. Number 2, we have Nimble Innovator. 4 mana 2/2. Not great, but when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card.
Yeah, and that's nice. So it's like a roadblock that draws you a card directly. You don't have to wait for it to die or anything like that.
No.
And obviously, if you can bounce it and replay it, or if you can flicker it, or if you
something.
Can do anything like that, then you get to draw a card again.
It's just value.
And it looks like there might be archetypes. We will analyze the archetypes later, but there might be archetypes that cares.
For example, there is a white card that costs 3, and then you can exile your creature, and it enters the battlefield again, and that also draws your card, so that will draw you 2 cards.
Yeah, so maybe you can assign this as a blocker, instant speed, you flicker it, you draw 2 cards. Maybe that's a thing in the format. We don't know yet.
No. But
it looks,
sounds sweet.
It looks pretty sweet. Number 1, we had the card Malfunction. It's also 4 mana, 3 in a blue, and it's basically the classic tap target permanent, and it doesn't untap. And here you can go. You don't only have to put it on a creature; you can put it on an artifact also.
Yeah, so you can put it on a vehicle, for example.
Put it on a vehicle. Even put it on, maybe there's like an artifact that they have a tap ability or something. So it's more than just a sleep paralysis.
Exactly. Maybe
it looks pretty good against vehicles.
You can actually put it on a land if you want to.
If there's an artifact land, you mean?
Yeah, and no, you can. Okay, yeah. No, I meant the prism, the pentad prism.
Okay, yeah.
For example. One that creates mana or stuff.
Yeah.
So you can. It has some more value than just creatures. Because if this was just creatures, then I don't think this would be number one.
Then it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But it's really good to be able to sorcery speed handle a vehicle. Because when you're on your turn, if you have like sorcery speed, destroy a creature, then you can never kill the vehicle.
No.
Then you need to do it instant speed because it's only a creature while it's crewed.
Exactly.
So that's why malfunction works a bit more.
Yep.
And
Okay, so that was
common.
Commons. Moving on to the uncommons.
Number 3, we had Aether Meltdown. It's 1 and a blue flash aura. You can enchant again a creature or a vehicle, which is relevant. And you also get some bonus energy when it enters the battlefield. And then you have enchanted permanent gets -4/-0. Pretty similar to Spontaneous Mutation, but you don't need to set it up by having a big graveyard.
No.
And the clause of being able to put it on a vehicle. And you get the... it's nice
irrelevant
to just have some random add-ons. For one generic mana, you get these nice little bonuses.
And it has some cool art.
Yeah, and I think that card will be pretty solid for
Yeah, me
blue.
too.
I mean, they have to have something to stop opposing creatures and vehicles, so why not?
And number 2, we have the Glint Nest Crane. So 2 mana 1/3 flyer.
Which is base...
Not great, but not super bad either.
It's a fine blocker.
It's a fine blocker. But when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal an artifact, and put it in your hand, and put the rest in the bottom. And
so hopefully you will find something.
yeah, since this is an artifact-based format,
In the right deck.
You might find something. Of course, you will miss.
Yeah, you can always miss with
Yeah.
these type of cards, but worst case you have a flying blocker out. And again, if there's like a repeatable way to flicker, or if you just want to target it and you have a lot of artifacts, you might be able to draw another card. So solid.
It's decent.
And number 1, I guess we put Glimmer of Genius. It's 4 mana instant, 3 and a blue. First scry 2 and then draw 2 cards, and you also get 2 energy. So scrying 2 is nice. Drawing 2 cards.
You basically go through 4 cards if you have
if you need to find something, or you can scry away lands later.
And since it's instant, you can perhaps hold up a counter spell or something. I don't know.
If you have a lot of instant, you can just wait, and if they do nothing you want to remove or whatever, then you can scry 2, draw 2 cards, and get some more energy for whatever you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Needs energy.
The energy part is the thing that's, I guess, most hard to evaluate, because we don't really know how good energy will be or how much you really need of it.
No, but still, if you have, only 1, 2, 3 creatures or permanents that cares about energy in a deck, and then your stuff that you already want to play also gives you energy, then why not?
Exactly.
So we put it on number 1.
Yep. And for us, we also have a sideboard card that we want to mention. And we don't know. This could be mainable, because
we'll see.
It's Ceremonious Rejection. It's a 1 mana instant.
Counter, 1 blue.
1 blue. Blue instant counter target colorless spell.
Yeah, and obviously, for starters, we might just have it in the sideboard, but playing against someone with a lot of colorless spells, or some really good artifacts, then you can just board it in and have 1 mana up is not that hard.
No, having 1 mana up is easy.
So
this could be good.
Maybe even a good sideboard card for constructed.
Yep.
If people are playing the mythic and rare vehicles, for example, in decks in standard later, then being able to just board in a 1 mana trick is very good.
Yep.
So I guess that was it for blue. Moving on to black.
Yep.
See you there.
See you there.